Hello, welcome to the newspaper review. Today being the 22nd day, Wednesday, that is of March 2023. You're very much welcome to the program. Here on the review, we go through headlines across newspapers around Nigeria, and we get to talk about these headlines in details here on the program. You can also be a part of this by dropping your comments and the reactions on the comment section. We'd love to always hear what your opinion is about these headlines. Don't forget that you can also stay connected to us. If you're just seeing this video for the first time, you can stay connected to us by following us, by first subscribing to this channel by clicking on the subscribe key. Don't forget to also turn on your notification, because that's how you will get notified the next time we come up with another episode of the newspaper review. And to stay connected to us on all our platforms, we're on Facebook as Tab TV, on Instagram is Tab TV _NG, and on Twitter is Tab TV _NG2. So follow us on all of these platforms, and we'd love to have you connected to us. And with me to do the newspaper headlines is the beautiful Natasha Brown. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Abule.
Good to see you again. How have you been?
Good to see you too. I've been okay, you know.
Great,
Getting my mental health together in spite of Nigeria. So
after the Saturday's, general election, governorship.
This series of elections.
Yeah.
We all know it has been horrible.
That's been very, very overwhelming for me too. But then here we are. We're moving on as Nigerians. We always do that. That's why they say we're very strong and resilient. But we hope to have reforms and changes, and of course lessons from these elections that of course we'll learn and then apply to most likely the next elections. Some people are still hoping that there will be some miracle, a first-time miracle, yes, of the upturn of the election after the tribunals before the swearing in of the president and vice president-elect, and also in some states, that are, pushing their case to court as per how the elections were carried out. But we're hoping to see all of that. Don't forget that in Adamawa State, we almost had a first-time female governor, but all of that was cut short as results were later announced, and then she couldn't make it through with her votes. But with all of that said, and elections, gradually the whole tension of the elections gradually fading away. Let's see what the papers are saying within the last 24 hours. And we'll begin with this day newspaper for today, the 22nd day in the month of March. On this day here we have as headline, Tinubu, physical, verbal assault during the March 18th governorship State Assembly elections, unacceptable. Calls for reconciliation, says ethnic slurs capable of creating needless mischaracterization. Atiku, your calls for reconciliation smacks of hypocrisy. All right, pick up a copy of this day newspaper, and of course page 10 is where you get details of that story. We're moving on. Emefiele apologizes for the deluge of online transactions failure. Page 6 is where you get details of that story. Moving downwards, you see here Buhari, I'm happy Nigerians now realize their voting power. Says, I told voters to take money, vote according to their conscience. Hence, he's eager to retire home to tend his over 300 animals. Remove fuel subsidy before leaving. U.S. envoy advises president. Let me just take this line where Buhari said, I told voters to take money, vote according to their conscience. Well, during the elections, that's not how it played out. If you ever took money from anybody, they ensured that you voted for who you took money for. These guys didn't come out to joke. They didn't come out to joke. They came out with weapons and all manners of intimidation. So if you ever took money, there was no chance we're going to vote your conscience. Plus, people that did not take money couldn't even vote their conscience. Talk more of the ones that you now took money, you now committed yourself to them, and you say you're not going to vote. People got macheted, people got stabbed, people got shot for just even trying to vote their conscience. So I don't know what our president is saying here, but that's by the way. Let's move on with the headlines on this day newspaper. And next we'll be taking on the main headline on this day. It says here, Obi, Atiku, two others want tribunal to void Tinubu's declaration as president-elect. Declare me winner of presidential election, I beg your pardon. Obi tells tribunal says Tinubu Shetima are not qualified to be on ballot. 6th President-elect's disqualification on account of his U.S. drug-related forfeitures. Accuses INEC of suppressing votes in 18,088 polling units. Refusal to present forms EC8A, EC8B in Rivers for inspection. And lastly, I'll take this one. I am opposite of what you are saying I'm about. What you're saying about me. Obi replies, Namani. I am opposite of what you're saying about me. Obi replies, in Namani. Page 40 is where you get details of that story. All right, Natasha, let's look at Obi's case. Obi has finally filed a case to the Electoral Tribunal, and some of the things he wants the tribunal to do for him is to swear in him as the winner of the presidential election. And also he says that Tinubu should be disqualified on account of his U.S. drug-related forfeitures. He also accuses INEC of suppressing votes in over 18,000 polling units. And the one that caught my attention the most, they refused his inspection team to inspect forms EC8A and forms EC8B in Rivers that came out of Rivers State during their inspections of materials, and they refused them to inspect those materials. Do you think INEC is hiding something?
Even though they were not planning to hide anything, or even though they're probably innocent of all these accusations and allegations, their disposition, their stance is not speaking innocent. It's not speaking innocent. You said if we have issues with the elections, we should take it to court.
And you're going to provide
the needed materials. So now you are restricting me from seeing certain forms, which I am bent on saying that there's evidence of some form of manipulation there. You are saying to me that I'm not able to see those documents when you have already said you will cooperate fully with the law, to make everybody see that you're not necessarily culprit in whatever it is that we're accusing you of. To a large extent, INEC has not done well by the people.
True.
A large crop of Nigerians are initially we didn't even necessarily have faith in INEC, but we chose to say, okay, let's try again. And now
because of the assurances that they gave Nigerians.
So now it's almost like you have buried it.
Yeah, they have.
And people are wondering, where can we go from here? So for me, I think that, whether the INEC is innocent or not, their disposition, their stance is not speaking innocent. It's speaking that you're highly culprit and that you are covering up something.
Very true. And just like you rightly said, their disposition is further making them look like they have so much to hide,
right,
and that they have been compromised so badly. That even showed, or it was even more amplified during the governorship and state assemblies election. The number of people that came out during the presidential election, because of the faith they had in all INEC had proposed to Nigerians. They proposed free and fair election via electronic means. Yes, your vote will count. The beavers cannot fail. The beavers is the game changer.
We are coming vote buying.
Yes, the beavers is the game changer.
We are extending the time for the gubernatorial elections because they want to reconfigure the beavers machine so that they can work optimally well.
We want to fix every challenge that
they spoke all the necessary grammar in
the presidential election, but we are still in the same position. Even some analysts has even said that we even went back in time in the way the elections were conducted. That elections that were conducted before this March 18th election were even much better or saner than the one that was. And I agree with them. I mean, over the weekend, I was so depressed with the kind of things I had seen on social media. Reports I got from people, even here in River State, how they were so, the voter suppression was so much.
It is so unfortunate, because I remember categorically going out to vote during the presidential election, even though I was disenfranchised because my card didn't still come up on the beavers, but that was not a problem, you know. So I stood in line for about 7 hours and thereabout, and I still had to, you know, get to the point where I still didn't cast my vote. But at the end of the day, there was nothing like gunshots and all of that. And even when we heard about electoral violence, it was in pocket spaces like Rumigbo and some few other places. You know, it wasn't all over the place. It wasn't rampant. It wasn't rampant. It was just like in pocket spaces. But come the gubernatorial elections,
it was all over the state.
Everywhere was just. In fact, I actually didn't even go out of my house. I came out later in the evening just to see like the situation of everything, but videos that you would see, what you would hear about people categorically, like in River State, people categorically telling you River State is a PDP state, so if you're from any party, you better sit at home. You better sit at home, because if you come out to want to vote in any other party, whatever you see, you take. So a lot. That's why we had low voter turnout. You get, so a lot of people just said, you know what, I'm not going to kill myself for this country. Stayed back in their houses, and the other people who were courageous enough to come out to vote, they were just dispersed. If you're for another party, places like, for example, in River State, places like Ogunabali, where there was gunshots, and some people even lost their lives. I think right now the death toll is to about, what, 6-4? Thereabouts in River State, just on the gubernatorial election day. So I am wondering, presidential, we didn't hear so much of this.
It's really unfortunate.
It was literally a do or die affair. And then, I mean, talk about Lagos. Look at that.
Let's not even go there today, because
look at that.
The Lagos case has been the talk of the town for days now, and it will be very difficult to just forget about Lagos State in a hurry. But before we carry on, let's look at some of the issues raised by the Obi case that was filed at the Electoral Tribunal, which is, one of them is U.S. drug-related forfeitures. I wonder why. Well, I can understand with the one that said INEC's refusal to present forms EC8A and the EC8B in River State. Why would they ever stop them from inspecting those papers? Why would they allow them to check some and then refuse them to check, especially in a state like River State that was widely rigged for the APC? And most of us saw this rigging with our own eyes. But then, today you say they should not now check those evidences or those electoral materials that were used in this state. You stop them from checking. Why? That means you're even disobeying court orders and then preventing them from doing their job that you said you were going to give them free hand to do. That's one. And then the only part of this case that I'm wondering is how the LP or the OB legal team is filing against the presidential qualification of Tinubu, that he had drug cases in the US and all of that. They probably have evidences to prove all of these things they have filed. But my question is, why now and not before the elections? What's going on?
I think even before the elections, it was a drag. I mean, media carried it, papers carried it, you know, that this man has a history of, drug-related issues in terms of, drug trafficking and all of that. And that was like one of the major cases he even had back in the United States. So we heard all of that. There was a lot of drama and a lot of talks about it. But I know categorically that these other presidential candidates never really took it as a rock solid stance why he shouldn't be there. They said some other thing. I think even their top tier word about him was mostly the Muslim ticket
and his health.
Right, but when it comes to like drug trafficking, they didn't hammer on it. I didn't see a lot of heat.
Nobody took him to court for that, stopping him. So why doing it?
So now, post-elections, now you're bringing this up, and this is like one of your major reasons. I'm like,
oh well.
But at the end of the day, my point is, if really there are concrete evidences, come on, we have to present these things, and this man cannot be at the top tier.
And that's
office.
What they're doing, and
that would literally mean he would enable such a thing to become a stay put in Nigeria.
I won't be
so
surprised.
Literally, even our kids, our teenagers will just be having quick access to these drugs, and we know that drug abuse is slowly becoming a pandemic in Nigeria. It's slowly getting there. Yeah. So imagine that we now have a man in the drug cartel. Come on. No, it will be horrible for us Nigerians. So definitely I'm for that. I don't like the lateness of it, that they're bringing this up post the election after, he has been announced to be president-elect, but still it's not all lost. If there are concrete evidences, please let them take it to court, and I hope that the rightful thing is done.
The Obi winning this case is a 50-50 thing. That's one thing we must all understand, that it's a very, very tough journey that he's embarking on.
It's a long journey as well.
We have, or he and his legal team has barely 3 months to prove a point
before the swearing in.
And that's a lot of work to do within a very short space of time. If they don't succeed in that time, they will swear Tinubu in. He will continue his government while that case is being pursued in court,
and it will just keep getting dragged.
All right, let's not forget that Tinubu is not going to fold his hands and wait for them to get victory. Something that, according to him, is a lifetime ambition. He's not going to let it go just like that. So there will be a big fight back from Tinubu's camp. So we have a lot to look out for. That's one part. But then I don't know if all of this case about drug in the US. And of course, the INEC, for the INEC part, though, he has a strong stand there, a strong case.
As well as the LP, though.
Yeah, if they can prove, then they have a chance of the election being annulled and all of that. That would be history.
But initially, I thought PDP had withdrawn their case.
They're still there. They're still there.
But I think they're even quite soft pedaling now.
Because for Atiku as a man, we've seen this happen with him time and time again, where he contests and then goes to the court and then backs off. Nothing happens. I don't know if he's about to go that route again, doing the same thing and not getting results. But for the LP, in person of Peter Obi, he said he has gotten results during the governorship time, where he was cheated, and he went to the court. The court reinstalled him. So now we are seeing the same thing being played out. Let's see whether truly the justice system will favor, not just favor, do the right thing, and actually give justice to all of this unanswered questions all over the place. Because truly, some of us experience some things that we've never experienced in our entire lives before. It was the first time I'm voting. Yes, if you're surprised, that was the first time I'm voting, and it just made me feel like this is the same reason why I've not been voting all these years. For this one time, I have had faith in INEC, thinking that, okay, because of the beavers, the electronic means of transmission, plus everything they said they were going to do, I came out to vote. And you see the numbers of Nigerian young people that came out, and then all of that hopes were dashed. So we're back, or we're where we were now, the way they will say it, we're where we are now, and because of all of the disappointments we got from INEC, and plus the fact that thuggery and violence during Nigerian elections have refused to go away, and that's pretty sad. How many years since 1999 till now?
But Abole, what's sadder for me is not necessarily the politicians. What is sad
the young
for me is Did you see the videos of these dogs? Abule,
I saw.
Those are boys and girls or whatever in their 30s and in their late 20s.
You didn't see the video that got me crying from Lagos. I mean, that couldn't have been posted by any TV station or any media house because it was very gory. A young boy, not anything older than maybe 20 or 21, was badly macheted by his spine. His spine was opened like this. He had not died yet. He was just there breathing. His hand was almost cut off. His both legs were almost cut off. He was not dead yet, but people were filming him That is somebody's son, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, so that
has been used by politicians.
That's what I am saying, Abule.
I'm sure he will not survive it.
He probably won't. But what I'm saying is this. Politicians do not act independently.
Oh, yeah.
They do not act on their own. It's not these politicians that go to the street to steal ballot boxes or to wreak havoc. What is wrong with the mind of these dogs? What is wrong with these people wait, for 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira, 5,000 naira,
oh, yes,
you're willing to risk your life? What is your problem? I understand.
You already answered the question.
I understand the psychology of using poverty and intentionally creating an avenue for poverty so that only the elites thrive and the poor keeps getting poorer. But my own submission is, what the hell is wrong with you? Are you not tired of being in the gutter?
No.
Are you not tired? Are you not tired of being the one who has to go bare-chested on the street under the hot sun and wreak havoc? Are you not tired that even that 10,000 naira they give to you, it cannot do anything for you?
They are not tired.
Are you not tired that even when you take that 10,000 naira and you go to the market, give yourself a week? As whoever you are, as a thug that you are, that money is gone. At the end of the day, most of the money you even use it to smoke something, drink something, or do something stupid.
Unfortunately.
So I am like, you by yourself right now are the biggest problem we have. I think right now in Nigeria, the biggest gap we have is lack of education, especially to the people of especially the grassroots people. Lack of education and lack of ownership and taking responsibility. You can't keep telling me that because, oh, what do you have now? What do you have to lose? You can't keep telling me that kind of thing. You need to start taking ownership and responsibility to say, Nigeria is mine as well. So I need to do the needful to create this enabling environment, and it's just so disheartening that these talks do not have foresight. There's nothing like foresight. They're not thinking about tomorrow. They're not thinking about next tomorrow. They're not thinking about 5 years down the line. And it's so unfortunate. And why are they this way? Because they're uneducated, number one. Number two, we keep talking about jobs. Abule, hold on. I don't think that is one of the biggest issues we have. I understand lack of jobs. I understand unemployment. But even in my area where I live, everywhere I go, even just around here, the office, you see little boys doing what they can to get by the day. Jack Ma did not grow up rich. He was one of the poorest of the poor.
True.
But when you tell yourself that this is not how I want to end, I want to be better, it will inform the way that you work.
Oh yeah, so I agree.
So my biggest issue with a lot of these talks is not necessarily that they're out of jobs or they don't have money. It's just that they have simply sat in hopelessness. And they're saying to themselves that, oh, there's no hope for me, so let me pick up arms.
All right.
You're being directly stupid and
let's continue.
It's just crazy.
I'd like to also add to that, but then I'm not going to, because we don't have a lot of time. We need to move fast and move on to our next paper for the day. Yeah, it's very, very, very,
sad, man.
Very, very, very annoying when most of the times we repeat the same things and go about the same stories over and over again.
If this government do not have people to help to perpetrate their evil, they would not be able to do this.
Because, of course, the oppressors are fewer than the oppressed. The oppressed are the multitude, the millions of Nigerians. The oppressors are just a few politicians. So just imagine the millions rising up against these few.
Like, I got to the point, I'm so sorry, I got to the point where I was talking to a friend of mine. I got to the point where I said, I don't even understand why you are friends with some of these politicians that you know outrightly they have no values. They have no integrity.
Yes.
So for me, I was even thinking about avenues where a lot of these people should be ostracized. A lot of these people should be excluded out of circles. By the time they start feeling the heat,
but what you forget is that
it's unfortunate.
It's
unfortunate.
They have understood how to wield power, and so they use it to their advantage.
The only reason you're able to wield power is because the one you're wielding power over has not yet understood his power.
So that's what
it takes someone to wield power over for you to even understand that you have power.
Yes, true. So that's what they have understood. So we now need some kind of reorientation to make people understand that they are the ones that have the most power than these politicians. But that's not the case now, because as you're talking to your friend about that power wielding thing, and then one politician strolls in and give him 50K, oh man, he will beat you to death. over that 50K that will not last him 3 days.
And thank God I don't even have a friend like that.
So that's how life
Thank God I don't even have a friend like that. It's so
that's
horrible.
How people, the minds of a lot of young Nigerians work, and it's really sad. Then the ones that are in businesses trying to raise their head up, trying to keep their head up, are being suppressed by economic policies, by government policies that will never favor your business, that will continue to make you feel like that you don't have a place in the system. It's really sad. But let's move on to our next paper, and that will be Daily Sun for today, the 22nd of March 2022. But before we go that, we need to take a short break. Once we come back, we'll take the headlines on the Daily Sun.
Hey there, are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
All right, you're welcome back from that break, and thank you so much for staying with us up to this time. Let's jump into the headlines on Daily Sun. On Daily Sun here we see as headline, Guba State Assembly polls, no visa for Rigas, violence sponsors, orders, US speaking there, Soyinka backs move. Details is on page 27 of the Daily Sun newspaper. As the headliner here, it says Tinubu condemns ethnic war over election, flays post-poll arson, physical, verbal assaults. His call hypocritical, says PDP. Presidential election, declare me winner or cancel election, Obi tells tribunal. Asks court to void certificate of return issued to Tinubu. APM demand cancellation of polls. Also, page 6 is where you get details of that story. You also see here, cash crunch, e-payment glitches will soon be over. Amefiele is speaking, and on page 2 is where you get details of that story. And we'll take this one too. He said, I'm most suitable to be next Senate President. Kalu, APC Equity Justice Group canvasses support for Washe for Speaker. You see on page 26. We also see here, Ohaneze talks tough over attacks on Igbo in Lagos. Says enough is enough. Accuses federal government, Lagos government of laxity. All right, let's stop there. There are other headlines, but that's all we can take on the Daily Sun newspaper. Let's begin with Orji Uzor Kalu's statement, where he says, I am most suitable to be next Senate President. And then, of course, in his words, he says, it is my turn. Is this becoming a trend where politicians will be so reckless to think that it is their right at this point in time to hold certain political offices and all of that?
It is. Absolutely. Tinubu has set a precedence. You just come out and say it's your birthright, it's your turn. It's your turn. You got it. So come out and do that. But anyway, at the end of the day, I mean, with Senate presidency, I know that there's the case of zoning. So he's also coming on the case of, I mean, I'm representing the Southeast as well, so it's our turn.
And the Southeast is one region that hasn't been there for a while now. So maybe he might be right, but it doesn't have to necessarily say it is my turn. He should propose things that will make him look like he's eligible.
Basically, I mean, I even read up on what he said. You know, he talked about being Team Nigeria for Nigeria, whatever he's going to do,
and
whatever policies he puts on, it's going to be Team Nigeria. And then as a lawmaker who has served for a long time, and then being in the Senate and all, of that. At the end of the day, yes, he does have some credentials, but every time I hear that somebody comes up with that speak to say that it is my turn, I'm looking at you like, what the hell is wrong with you again? And unfortunately, he's even an APC member.
Yeah, they've taken that part of making things their turn.
Yeah, so, well, at the end of the day, I just hope that they do the right thing in the Senate. I think, first of all, it's not about birthright, it's not about zoning, it's about who is most capable of being at the top tier seat, to enact the proper policies and put in laws and bills, that will make Nigeria a more progressive society. So at the end of the day, I hope that, the needful is done. I mean, there are other people also, lobbying amongst their mates, to get into the seat, like Akpabio.
Yeah.
Akpabio is one of them, and some others. So at the end of the day, I hope that they put the right person there. And I'm not big on zoning. I don't know why zoning is a big thing here in Nigeria. I'm not big on that. I think like the most capable, the most competent should be there. But at the end of the day, it's what it is for now. So I mean, if he's ripe for the position, then let him get it. But every time I hear that word, it is my turn, it just rings wrong in my ear. It sounds like tyranny over again.
Yeah, but then for zoning, the way I look at it, although I know zoning, creates balance in Nigeria because of the multi-ethnicity that we have and religious differences. Yeah, if we throw zoning out of the window, I know the place of capacity and eligibility and all of those, but then zoning creates that balance. Like in this case now, where we have a Muslim ticket, also the chief of staff or the secretaries to the state, to the federation, secretary to the government of the federation, all of that are being contested by northerners and all of those. We don't know what those things will turn out to be, but now that we have a Muslim ticket, it is only right that the Senate president somehow, to create some kind of a balance, turn out to be a Christian, maybe somebody from the southeast or that. So we are looking at that, but it doesn't make it Oji Uzo-Kalu's
birthright.
Absolute right. I swear. So all of this is my turn thing. We don't know about that, but let's just keep our fingers crossed and let's hope that he is also proposing the fact that he has the capacity to run that seat. It's a very, very critical seat, if we must look at it.
Right.
The Senate president in every government is very critical, even though the outgoing one has somehow act like a rubber stamp Senate president.
I mean, the only Senate president so far, like in my life so far that I've lived, that I've just really endorsed has been Bukola Saraki.
Yeah, he was very outspoken.
Very effective.
Very effective. You could feel the presence of the Senate at that time. But now the 10th
Free
Senate...
of pressure from the presidency.
But now the 10th Senate, we don't know what the outcome will be, but then we're hoping that it will be a very vibrant and active Senate. Even if it turns out to be Oji Uzo-Kalu. But then we're watching that closely.
But even though he has some unpopular stories though, back where he comes from.
Of course, he was
very controversial stories.
Of course, he went to prison and then came out again.
So when he comes out and tells me Team Nigeria, I'm just looking at you like, look at you speak again.
He said he has a business across the whole country and all of that.
Whatever.
So there's a lot that needs to be checked about these people. They all have questions.
Have you even noticed that almost all our leaders, almost all the people leading us back in the federal government or federal level, I mean, most of them are ex-convicts.
They all have
with
questionable,
a lot of backlogs.
They all have questionable characters. But then they will never come out and sit down and be elder statesmen.
And these are the people that are going to enact laws and bills and policies for us.
No surprise. God. I'm not surprised. That's why when they want to get into power, they get in by all means. They never allow Nigerians to be different. They always force their way through. They always want to be in power and be our leaders by force. They will never let us vote them. It's so pathetic. But let's carry on. Let's take on the story of Tinubu condemning ethnic war over the ethnic bigotry and all the whole ethnic slurs that came up before the 18th March 18th the governorship and state assemblies elections in Lagos State. So one would have expected that this will come up right before the election, because these threats started days before the elections, where we saw people like MC Oluomo and Bayo Onanuga, people putting out statements that will heat up the polity. Yet the president-elect didn't say anything, but just yesterday he came out with a statement condemning all of those kind of
after
things.
You've gotten your result. What a joke. What a bloody joke. Is this how we're going to start? Is this really how we're going to start? I mean, that's your bloody state. So you say, even though we're thinking you're from Osun State, but whatever. I mean, you saw these things, you heard of these things. Lagos is where you've been over time. You know that people have been saying these things, there are videos. Why didn't you come out to outrightly condemn it and say, let everybody have a right to vote? But you cannot do so because you know the back on which you came in as a president. I mean, even during your own presidential election, we had all of this drama going on where they were literally telling Igbo people, in fact, if you don't look like you are a Yoruba person, you know.
Whether your father is from Lagos.
Right, I mean, so we had that happen in his own time. I'm not sure I even expected any different, but we were just thinking that now that you're president-elect, at least it should be for all people. Yeah. And so you haven't heard about these things and haven't seen some videos or whatever. That's if you did even get access to them or see them or opened your ears to hear. You know, you should have been able to make a statement to say, no, let people be able to come out and vote and all that. But no, you didn't say that. And now, post-election, results have already been announced. When people have been disenfranchised, there has been huge amount of thuggery, violence, all over polling units, and now you're coming after they have announced who's the winner to say this. I think it is very dishonest.
Yeah, it is. It is even though it is doing the right thing, but at the wrong time.
Yes.
So I mean, I don't know of what effect that will be in trying to put some of these things under control. The only way maybe I feel this could maybe help is to maybe pick up one of these people that started this whole.
Somebody should take the fall.
Yeah, that started this whole storyline. And then,
I mean, the part that even hurt me was when even the police force came on TV to say that it was a joke.
It was a joke. That one really made me feel funny. Like,
what the hell?
Are they trying to tell us that people like MC Oluomo in Lagos are untouchable? So you cannot invite them
as a comedian that he is, he just come out and say something and
make
we laugh.
Expensive jokes.
During such a heated time like
jokes that led to the loss of life of people, jokes that led to people being injured seriously, people being disenfranchised, people being beaten up, people being traumatized.
Pictures of thugs in various polling units have come up. None of them have been
jokes that empowered that level of violence in Lagos. And you say, until today, the man is still working free, flying private jets, and you say Nigeria is a normal country. It's not a normal, we live, I don't know, but it's not a normal country. And it's hurtful to see that these kind of actions just goes on to explain the level of impunity we live in this country.
That's my biggest issue I've had with the APC. Yeah. You know, the impunity that they support.
Yes. And they enjoy, as leaders. It's unfortunate. But let's leave that story. Let's take our last paper for the day, and that will be Nigerian News Direct. And on Nigerian News Direct here, we see Buhari celebrates Tony Elumelu at 60.
Congratulations to him. I love that
wonderful man. Yes, doing a lot for Nigeria and Africa, representing Nigeria worldwide, globally. Yes. He's doing great.
That's an amazing
congratulations to Tony Elumelu. Happy birthday to you, sir. All right, we'll carry on with our other stories here. You see, amid Naira scarcity, CBN increases monetary policy rate to 18%, CRR to 32.5. All right, we also see here, federal government removes excise duty for telecoms services. Exemption commendable is sent forth gift by Buhari. Atcom, page 4 is where you find details of that story. We also see Tinubu-led government lobby for seat stuffings as 10th National Assembly leadership composition tears lawmakers apart. We also see here, we'll deliver red line rail before end of our first term. Sanwo-Olu reassures Lagosians. Guba, House of Assembly electoral violence, U.S. threatens sanctions as Buhari hails process. You'll find story on page 4 of Nigerian News Direct. Interesting. Interesting also is that the federal government has been able to remove a percentage of excise duty for telecom services. Does it now mean that our call airtimes are going to, reduce drastically, and data purchase and all of that are going to reduce too? Even though the statement by Pantami, he was saying that despite the increases that they have experienced in the industry, that these telecommunication companies have been able to manage themselves in a manner that the end users will not feel or didn't feel these increases that were put on the telecoms, companies. What do you have to say about all of that? excise duty.
I think it's a good thing that has happened, whereby they had to remove it, because even based off of what we've heard from the telecom industry and also from the minister of the IT minister, it's said that the telecoms industry, they have been overtaxed.
Yeah.
So adding this on top, because initially they were not included in the whole excise duty tax, which basically is also like into sin tax, because mostly it was for consumables and manufacturing, industries. So, but now that they wanted to add that, because obviously there's a drop in revenue from the oil sector.
True.
So they wanted to create other avenues for them to create revenue for the economy. But this was just going to be too much on the telecoms industry, and probably even if they had added this, it would have kind of boomeranged on the users as well, on the end users, where we now get to pay more for our data purchases or whatever. But I like that at the end of the day they listen to reason. And the funny thing is, even Zainab, the minister in charge, she didn't necessarily even involve Pantami, in the whole discussion to say that this was the way that they were going through. She just basically, put it out there. So there was definitely all these debates from stakeholders, in the telecoms industry. So I like that, they have listened to reason and they've taken it off of them, because if they're being overtaxed already, then there's no point. Let them put the tax on the needed companies, the consumables and the manufacturing companies.
Very true. Quite a relief, and we must commend the government whenever they do something good. We want to be commending and congratulating our government for at least doing stuff to make the livelihood of Nigerians easy, because Nigerians are going through a lot. Since last year, this new money policy, plus every other thing, plus the elections, in fact, it is exhausting. It is exhausting, but here we are, still smiling, still pushing. So this news like this is what we want to be hearing every time, where we find out that our government is actually looking out for us, not taking every other time from us. All right, that's where we'll draw the curtains today. I want to thank you so much, Natasha, for always coming through. And to our viewers, thank you for staying with us up to this time. Don't forget to stay connected to us on all our platforms until we come your way next time.